my top 5. So when I first started rapping, man, it was Big Pun. I wanted to flow like Pun. You know, I just wanted to sound like Pun because I like how he put his music together. And it's like, you know, just the breath control necessary to spit one of his verses, you know, because I was spitting that song he had with Fat Joe, the Deep Cover remix, you know. Ready for war, Joe, how you want to run a spot? I know these dirty cops that'll get us in if we murder some wop. Hop in the Hummer, the Punisher's ready. With me a Vito with noodles, we do this do while we slurping spaghetti. Everybody, like, you know, and
what
then
is
that
this?
line, and in the middle of little did we know that we middle some middleman who didn't do diddly. Like, I heard that and I'm like, yo, this is insane. So I want everything had to be like that, you know. And then, you know, I discovered Big L. So, and I discovered Big L because it was in 7th grade. And I think he had already passed. I'm pretty sure he had already passed. But my man, Blake Ward, he had like the binder full of CDs and stuff. And, you know, we was poor. So, you know, I had the CD player, only had one CD. And I got tired of listening. I'm like, yo, let me hear something. And I grabbed, I think it was Lyricists Lounge Volume 2. And he had a song on that joint called Still Here. It was a remix, actually. It was Big L and C-Town. And he had a bar, and I hope I don't say it wrong. So if I do, don't slander me. But he said, you know nothing about L, so don't doubt L. What's the motherfucking rap game without L? Yeah, that's like Jews without ice, or like China without rice, or the Holy Bible without Christ, or the Bulls without mics, or crack games without pipes, the village without dikes, or hockey games without fights. Don't touch the mic if you ain't able to spit. Flamboyant is the label I'm with. And I'm like, it was like different because he talking that talk, but it's that clean, precise flow, and it's just witty. You can tell he's in total control, yo.
Hey, today we got a really dope interview coming up for you all. I mean, I couldn't wait for this one to come out or for us to get this interview in particular. Like I said, we love discovering new artists. And just a couple months ago, we had JR on the show, and he's associated with Ransom, and that's one of the guys that we listen to. So that's the tree. Ransom, then we started listening to JR. Then JR was promoting something called the Weather Report. And then we were like, all right, you know, we gonna listen to this because now we're fans of JR as well. And next thing I know, we got this other guy on here called King James standing toe to toe with JR. Like, I was mind blown. Like, there's more. There's more of these guys out here spitting like that. So today on the couch for the first time, we got our man, King James.
Hey, yo, we got the game in the Cobra clutch. The verbal weaponry is like a vasectomy. How we going nuts? How you gon' son me? I'm cold as fuck. Save your smoke for blunts. Cause I promise, ain't many artists as cold as us. These niggas must with no pedigree. Over melodies, I'm high fidelity. So why would you ever settle for parody? I ain't like them niggas obsessed with being celebrities. I do it for prosperity and legacy. Thinking beyond your frivolous qualms. I'm penning biblical psalms, showing niggas other shit they can be on. Cause any minute you can slip and you gone. Niggas vanish, but it ain't magic coming out of the tip of that wand. It's death or a cell. Niggas said it wouldn't be long, but I wouldn't listen and didn't conform.
Welcome to the couch, brother. Welcome to the couch.
Tuning into the Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast.
No doubt, brother. How you feeling?
I feel good, man. You know, getting ready to drop my new project, Prodigal Son. It's coming out May 3rd. Gonna be on all streaming platforms. So life is good right now, man. You know, I got a birthday next week. It is what it is.
Well, happy early birthday.
Absolutely.
It's good catch you next week, though, wherever we can catch you on. So tell us who you are, what you about, what you do, man.
Okay, I go by the name of King James. I'm a rapper out of Wilson, North Carolina. Live in Greensboro now. Don't have a lot to show for it, but definitely not new to the game. put out my first project back in 2005 on MySpace. I was in a group called long time ago. I was in a group called Peoples, man. It was myself, Tay Black, Justin Sauls, we were the MCs, and then my man Lex So Dope, he was the producer. So we did that, dropped another joint in 2007, 2008 called Skull Session. We linked up with a producer, rapper out of Virginia. At the time, he was going by the name of Logic Marsalis, but he goes by the name of Alley Oop now. And started doing my solo thing because cats spread apart. And, you know, here we are now. Just trying to do my thing, make my mark in the game.
So as you were talking about, like 2005 was your first start. We had a chance to listen to a little bit of Prodigal Son, and you're talking about a lot more openness. But first I want to go to Weather Report, and then we'll kind of transition to Prodigal Son. How did you and JR link up with each other?
So it's crazy, man, because like we actually grew up around each other. Like he lived like right around the corner from me, but I'm a couple years older, so we didn't really run in the same circles. And I think it was maybe like 2010, 2011. We met through a mutual friend who was producing at the time. Shout out to Mars Mackins. And he was there. You know, me and Tay Black, we came over his crib, and there was Mars and JR was over there. You know, so we dapping cats up. And they playing a song. It was called Shadow. And I'm listening to the joint. And it was like a crazy line. He was like, hard on my sleeve, but it's summer, so I left those in the closet. My memory banks are no longer accepting my deposits, so I give them to y'all with respect and hope that Logic will help you to appreciate these exceptional composites. And I'm like, yo, who is this? I'm like, who is, like, bro, I'm telling you, man. Because back then, I was on some hyper arrogant stuff, like nobody can mess with me. And I'm hearing this, and I'm like, yo, who's this? And my man, you know, Mars, he pointed at JR. And I'm like, bro, this you? And JR, like, he might seem like he don't care. He just a super humble, authentic cat, man. Like, that's just how he is. And he like, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, I had never heard nothing like that in my whole life. You know, so ever since then, man, we kind of kept in touch. He was doing this pro ball overseas and stuff. And, you know, whenever we worked on music, we always did stuff together. So, you know, it was only natural that we came together for the Weather Report. And it turned out beautiful, I think.
Yeah. And it's funny he's like that because we got that from our interview with him. But then don't let that fool you, because once he get on a mic, he's totally opposite of that humble dude I'm pretty sure he is that you know in real life. You know what I mean? So you definitely can't slack.
He's a monster, man. Like, like for my money, I think he's the GOAT, man. For real. I think people just don't know yet. There ain't, like, lyrically, there ain't nothing he can't do. He can write any kind of track, any type of flow, subject matter. It don't really matter. And, you know, all he needs is just the ears, man. You know, unfortunately, the music industry isn't a meritocracy. It's not really about skill. But if it was about skill, yeah, he'd be up there with like a Ransom, man. He ain't got the catalog, but if you hear him on those songs, he's up there. Now, we know Ransom is God level. Like, if you can go toe-to-toe with Ransom, you can go toe-to-toe with anybody. So,
and that's exactly how we felt when we first heard him on, I forgot what project it was, Prez. You referenced it the last interview, but we had him come on, and we was like, okay. You know, he just elevated the track. Like,
I think what I was talking about on there when he did that, I was just like, you know, when I first heard the track is Ransom with some other people, right? So I'm like, hey, so Ransom coming over here. Oh, they let Ransom go first? Ooh, big mistake. Like, how you gonna follow that up?
That would typically be the thing, but not this time.
But the minute he came on that, he held his own. You know, he able to acknowledge what was before him on Ransom, and then snatch back a little bit of that spotlight to make you like, yo, I gotta check this dude out. I gotta keep following him.
Yeah, nobody's smoking him on anything. Man. Nobody's smoking him on anything. Like, if you feature JR on the track, you better bring your A+ game, you know, because he will take your joint. He'll make it hit.
Yo, so how was you guys' sessions during the Weather Report?
So basically, I mean, we were just like, you know, be in a room listening to beats and stuff, and we'll hear a beat that we like, specifically Fall, because he played a clip on Twitter, and he already had his verse without him. And you know, I hit him up. I'm like, hey man, like what you doing with that? He like, man, it's whatever. You trying to get on? So we went from there, and then we really like how that joint turned out. So we like, yeah, we might as well go ahead and do a whole project. So, you know, we would play the beats or come up with the beats that we want to work on. A lot of times I would have my verse first, and then when I would go record, that would be the first time he heard it. And he would be writing his stuff on the spot. And by the time I get back home, he already sent me an email. It's like, yeah, this is my verse, man. And it's crazy how fast he works. And he's recording himself, by the way. He's doing it all. So, you know, just perfection, man. That's came out really good. I think so.
And it was the same effect for me listening to that, going back to the Ransom thing, where like once we saw your name on the project, I was confused a little bit, but then he was promoting it so much. I was like, all right, cool. Let me check it out. You held your own the entire track. Like, you know, if we want to go debate, which we always do, who had the better verse here, who had the better verse that, like, y'all literally go back and forth with songs. And every time I'm like, oh, King James got one. Then I'm like, oh, JR got it's, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, especially when you guys are doing that back and forth joint type of project, man. So, you know, definitely iron sharpens iron when it comes to that.
Like I said, you got to come with your A game, man. But you know, if you ask me, you know, JR the GOAT, man, and he kind of threw me an alley-oop, you know what I'm saying, put my name on the project and stuff, and you know, really get me out there, because I was kind of, you know, I ain't really want to do it, and you know what I'm saying, I'm really just trying to focus on him. He's like, nah, you too dope, man. You got to put your stuff out. So, you know, I really appreciate him for giving me that push.
Yo, can you dive a little bit more into the gap? Because earlier you said the 2005 MySpace era, and then you had the gap. Like, did life happen, or like just take us through that?
Yeah, so I was in the Air Force. I joined the Air Force in 2005. So, and fortunately and unfortunately, I got stationed to Seymour Johnson, which is like 25 minutes outside of my hometown. And because I joined the military to get away. So I'm like, yeah, man, who knows where I'm going to be? Like, nah, we sending you back home. So, you know, I was like traveling back and forth, doing it whenever I could. And, you know, just deployments in between there. You know, my homeboys, they graduated A&T. My man, Tay Black, he moved up to Maryland. Alex moved down to Atlanta. You know, Joe moved back to Virginia. My man, Justin Sauls, he joined the Navy, so he was in Texas. And basically just life, you know, kind of like separated us. So, you know, I just took a long period of time where it was like, you know, I'm just living life. And I love rap. I'm a fan first. I could never really leave it alone. So I would always get that itch. And it wasn't until about, you know, 2009, 2010, where I was like, all right, you know, let me see if I can do something on my own and really get back in the game. But, you know, that really didn't work out. And I was transitioning from the military to civilian life and stuff. So I just kind of had to get my house in order, man, before I can, you know, go on some other endeavors and stuff.
Man, so first off, man, before we go any further, appreciate your time in the service at all, man. We know it take a different mindset to do
it
this.
Definitely
and
does.
For you to donate 4 years, man, or however long you donated, we appreciate those years, man.
Yeah, for sure. And if you, listeners, if y'all didn't know, Prez and I collectively have about 40 years of military service, so we don't shy away about that.
You got majority of those.
Who? Me?
You
about to retire, old man.
Don't let people don't know how many years and stuff that is.
Listen, you can't even hide it. Look how old you look on camera. You can't even hide it, man. You look your age. You one of them black people that look your age.
Yeah. Oh, man, take off that hat.
I can't. Whole ceiling missing. I can't.
Look, you see it, man. You see the vibes, man.
You see it? It's the side look good. It's the back.
Oh, nah.
It's the back.
Nah, you good.
It's the back. Oh, I ain't showing it. I don't give a shit.
Bruh.
Oh, you gonna do it? Don't do it.
Bruh, I wish I had that. I got Paul Winslow, man, and my Jordan garage, it's bad. Man. You're not doing that.
the weather report, man. For y'all who haven't listened yet, like until his new album, The Prodigal Son, come out, make sure you go listen at that. I definitely got it in my rotation. Definitely hear it weekly, especially the first 3 songs on there. Like you were saying, The Fall, Heat, and Partly Cloudy. Like, man, just that intro, like when they come in, just like always. I love that. It's hard for me to get past those. I keep like when they get there, rewind it and hit them back again.
Yeah, and that's
that
true.
Whole, it's 5 tracks on there. It's a solid project. But I mean, y'all just like on that, like those 3 songs when y'all was coming in, y'all just killed those, man.
Barred up, yeah, barred up every single song. But
I appreciate you, man.
No doubt, man. But with Prodigal Son, the songs we've heard, it's still bars, but now we get to know who you are on this part. So was that a concentrated effort to, you know what, I did this part, but now that I'm keeping this momentum going, I want to give the people more of who I am?
Yeah, because like, you know, I definitely want to let people know that I got bars available, you know what I'm saying? But I always felt like rap, you know, was message oriented. You know, even when you like bragging and stuff, it's like you bragging to show people that you're the best, you know, but outside of that, you know, like people rap about like what they know, what they experience firsthand, secondhand, you know, just life stuff. And I wanted to let people know about, you know, my real life, you know, stuff that had happened to me recently, you know, from being depressed, you know, having, you know, your mom and your grandma come move in with you and stuff, and then losing both of them, you know, it's music really got me through a lot of that. And I just wanted to open up myself and, you know, show people a little bit of like, you know, my mental space and the things that I had going on. Because when I talk to people about it, you know, surprisingly, it's like, yeah, man, you know, like we need this stuff, and they're going through it as well. So I think that's the dope thing about it.
Yeah, and rest in peace to your moms and your family members, because, you know, on one of the songs, like you went, it was like maybe 4 family members that you kind of listed off, like that all passed away recently, and one due to COVID. Like how were you able to write those words down and pen that?
Man, it really just came to me. Like a lot of that stuff I ain't even write down. Like the way I work, you know, like bars kind of come in my mind and I start formulating them there. So, you know, that part was just in my mind because I knew I wanted to like, you know, commemorate them in song somehow. So it just kind of like popped in my head, man. And, you know, like my mom was rough, but it was expected. And, you know, my grandmother, it was a little bit different. I was like more relieved for her because, you know, she survived all of her kids, she survived all of her siblings. And, you know, it was kind of like, you know, I'm just ready for her to know peace. And my uncle passed probably, this was a long time ago, maybe like 2009, 2010. But my aunt was the hardest because, you know, she had lupus and we felt like she was winning that fight. And, you know, around Christmas time, I get a call from my cousin. I think it's going to be like, hey, you know, what's going on, cousin? She like, yeah, you know, mom passed. I'm like, damn. So, you know, but I knew I definitely wanted to do it, man. It's just kind of up there. You know, the bars came and I found a beat that I wanted to get them, you know, to get them out on, and I just did it.
Yeah. I was gonna say we talked about this earlier, man, because you know you got your different phases and stuff that you do in life, and like you got the street people who can do it like extremely well, tell a story and pivot that way. But that's only one side of what everybody or anybody can go through. It's also that adult side that you kind of leaned heavily in on this on this one, The Prodigal Son. Yeah, you kind of told those stories about going through like with the family stuff, like you said, like stuff ain't going your way, so you may have a setback or something like this, and you know, walking your way through that. That's something that you need to hear. I always think that you need to hear, and it makes a mixture of, and that's what makes hip hop great. You know, like some people may say, "Oh, I don't mess with that or whatever," but it's the mixture of it that, you know, that gets you through and helps you. Like I think that's what the game needs all the time. So, and I think
Yeah,
we've been
like, you know,
lacking it.
it's important to hear them stories, man, because it's like, you know, you really, especially as like a black man, you know, a lot of like outside of like your immediate family members and stuff and like your significant others, like for the most part, you know, people don't really care, and there isn't a lot of avenues for support, you know, for whatever you may be going through. So if you can hear in a song somebody going through a similar situation, it could be everything, you know, because they can show you like, all right, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but when you're going through it, it's just complete darkness. You know, sometimes you need somebody to like guide your thinking. It's like it's not always going to be like this, you know, but you can get lost in the situations because just we can only experience the present. We can't look into the future, you know. So it's important to hear somebody going through a similar situation, how they got out of it, how they dealt with it, you know, all of that stuff is real important. So
funny that you mentioned that, talking about the present, because I think that was like what you leaned heavily on in the song Tomorrow, Today, and Yesterday, you know, talking about that. I think like that's where you was hitting on that same topic, and you know, just I think you had the perfect lead in too with that Time's Up and then Tomorrow, Today, and Yesterday on this album. We'll play a little snippet of that so the people can hear.
Tomorrow could always be today. Hey yo, I call myself king so I can feel important. I held back for lots of things, cause my self-esteem is where the floor is. My sea of trouble, so I'm metaphoric. My grandma told me to let him go and give him to God, and I feel better for it. And even though I have my past, I can't ignore it. And emotionally, I feel exhausted. Cause every time I feel the smallest. And I can't swallow another ounce of pride, cause it makes me feel nauseous. It's like I used to be a different person. 20-something ready to change the world, but my efforts proved worthless. And trying to make it right, it seemed like everything I was doing was wrong. Now I'm 35 with dreams deferred like student loans. Everybody in my life is moving on, but I feel stuck cause I move like you move a pawn. Well, life is like chess, so I guess it matters not. Cause when the game stops, all the pieces going back into the same box.
And just you want to give us a little piece about that?
Yeah, so like, and it's funny too, man, because for the longest I didn't have a title. I didn't have a title for that song. And I was driving back from JR's crib back home, and you know, I was like, you know, tomorrow could always be today, but today is something yesterday can never be. It just kind of like popped in my mind. I'm like, that's it. You know? So, and it's really like, and I think a lot of people experience this. Like when you're young in your 20s, you feel like you're invincible. The world is yours. Everybody's been telling you that you're the future. You know, you're going to shape tomorrow and stuff. And you have a lot of grandiose ideas about, you know, the things you're going to accomplish. And then, you know, because time appears to happen instantaneously, you're like 34, 35, and you start going over the ledger, like, what have I accomplished? What have I checked off? And for me, it's like a lot of the things that I wanted to accomplish, I hadn't, you know, and it made me feel real depressed. But at the same time, it's like you're still here, you're still alive. So it don't mean that it's over. It just didn't happen in the manner that you expected it to happen. And a lot of times when you put an expiration date on your goals, you really just add an undue pressure, because as long as you're alive, you still have time and opportunity to do the things that you want to do and just get it done, you know. And the one thing that you can do is just focus on what you didn't do in the past, because, you know, you got to put in the work today to shape your tomorrow. So it's like people want to lose weight, but you want to lose weight instantaneously. It's like if you're walking every day and you're working out every day and you're cutting back your food, you know, in 2-3 months time, you'd have lost the weight. But if you just focusing on, you know, I tried to lose weight last year and it didn't work, 2 or 3 months time pass, you're still going to be fat. You're in the same situation. So it's kind of like just putting things in perspective and just working towards your future. As long as you're here, you got a shot. That's basically what I wanted to convey.
And that's, man, that resonated with me. Like I told you before we got on the show, like, it's like, yeah, man, this is the songs. These are the type of tracks that's going to last throughout a lifetime for anybody. They're probably not going to go to, you know, a party song, club record, which are all cool. There's seasons and reasons to listen to that. That's nothing against it. But the songs that typically resonate with people is something where you're relatable, like you were in that song and many other songs on this project, but also being able for them to dive in to your story, even if they're not going through it, because if they're not going through it right now, they might go through it in the future. Yeah. So that was good, man. You addressed failure, being self-conscious, worrying about not being where your friends are. Like, all of that is tackled in that one song, and you just broke it down perfectly, but the song breaks it down even better for you guys out there that haven't heard the project. Just, like, when y'all hear it, y'all definitely gonna love it. But I wanted to switch gears real quick because I know you're a sports guy, and I want to get into some sports. We need to know, right, straight up who your teams are, and then we're gonna move on from there because I got some good sports questions for you.
All right, man. So football, unfortunately, man, because they did my guy dirty, man. They did Cam dirty. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, man. I've been a fan since they came in the league, and I'm a loyal dude. I don't switch sides, man. Like, the only way I'm going to be a fan of a different team is if they leave the state. If they relocate, then I'm a free agent. But until then, I'm a Panthers fan. That's my football team. Basketball team, I still got to go with the home team, man. Charlotte Hornets. We got LaMelo Ball. You know what I'm saying? The future looking bright. Got Miles Bridges, PJ Washington. I don't really rock with Gordon Hayward too heavy like that. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Hey, y'all gonna need him. Y'all gonna need him to come back.
Bro, we gonna need everybody we can get. Yeah. We gonna need everybody. But it seemed like we heading in the right direction, man. I like Terry Rozier, so it's the most excitement we've had in a long time. So not really a baseball fan or a hockey fan, man. So those are my teams, pretty much.
All right. So King James is that's a name to live up to, and in our opinion, I humbly say you are doing well carrying the name so far. But
appreciate it, man.
With that said, you have to start a franchise. Who are you picking? King James, LeBron James, Kobe, or MJ? Who you starting the franchise with, and why?
Bro, if I'm starting a franchise, I'm starting it with LeBron. Like, LeBron has proven that it really doesn't matter the pieces around him. He's going to get it done. And I see Mr. Prez,
he a Laker fan.
This isn't a slight on any facts. I think if you ask me who the GOAT is Michael Jordan. LeBron is not the GOAT. I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT. But if I'm starting a team from scratch and I don't know what the rest of the team looks like, it's going to be LeBron, because everywhere he's gone, he's known success. And we got to get out of this whole, but he didn't win the championship. Like, bro, you see what that franchise is. Like, they just let go of Kevin Porter Jr. He's hooping in Houston.
Hooping.
And he couldn't get on the court in Cleveland. You see the type of ineptitude that he took that to a championship and made them one of the best teams in the league consistently. So, like, my thing with Kobe, of course he's an all-time great. Definitely an all-time great. But I remember, when Shaq left and they missed the playoffs, and then the next 2 years they got bounced by the Suns in the first round. I remember that, you know what I'm saying? And even Michael Jordan, because I was born in 85, so I didn't get to see Michael Jordan struggle. My uncle really schooled me on, like, when Jordan first came into the league, he was basically a cat that scored a whole bunch of points on a terrible team, and it didn't diminish what he was, but when people talk about Jordan being 6-0, he had to wait his turn just like everybody else. The Celtics had aged out, the Pistons had to age out, and the Lakers had to age out, and then it was their turn. So I don't even think about rings and any of that stuff when I talk about the players that I want to, start a franchise with. I'm taking LeBron because I feel like he's going to get the most out of the talent around him. But in terms of, like, the GOAT, Michael Jordan's my GOAT. I just feel like he's the only player that came into the league from day one being the best player in the league. Nobody else can say they did that.
Kobe. Mamba mentality.
Bro, Kobe Bryant didn't even play when he first got it. He couldn't even be Eddie Jones out for the spot. How you gonna do that?
How he the GOAT?
and that's not. And Eddie Jones was wrong. Eddie Jones was wrong. So I want to put that out there.
So how many years? How many years did it take for Kobe to take that spot?
I mean,
it probably was
really took
not many, like a year and a half, if that.
Oh, a year and a half. Oh, so did Jordan go to college?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 years. Sorry, 3 years.
Did Kobe?
Ah, come on, man.
Okay. So we
make your point here, Perez. Make your point.
We're gonna even it back up right now. That even it back up. So hey, that 1 year win, that was his college time. He was just getting paid. He ain't fall for the trap like Jordan did. He got paid to go out there and do it. Well, Jordan probably got paid too, but less than that.
He got paid. He got paid.
All right, man. So looking at the lens, go ahead. You got something else?
I was just gonna say, like, and to Kobe's defense, you know, he was in an era where like your rookies really didn't play. You know, like now as a rookie, you get thrown into the fire. Back then, it really didn't matter what you did as a rookie unless you went to the worst of the worst franchises. Like him going to LA, there was no way he was going to start from day one. It just wasn't going to happen. So it wasn't all on him. You know what I'm saying? I'll give Kobe that.
And I take it, you know, just from you, coming from you, you know, I understand a little bit, you know, Charlotte, Kobe. Y'all probably still got a little bit of animosity.
He was supposed to be.
I knew it was coming.
He was supposed to be like, yo, how you play this man? Like, bro.
Hey, Perez hold grudges too. He wasn't a LeBron fan until LeBron actually came there. Now LeBron could do no wrong in his eyes. But before that,
once he won that chip,
he was a critic, boy. He was a critic, man. It was terrible.
Look, if they get healthy, they're going back to back, man. If they get healthy, they're going back to back.
Man, especially with Drummond out there, man. That dude.
But I'm telling people, man, the way Drummond is going to look with AD and Bron on the court is totally different than how he looks now.
Yeah,
it's going to be nice.
All he got to do is block shot and rebound. All he has to do is block shots and rebound.
I'm hoping that it's like the Nets versus the Lakers, just so, you know, every time I see Schroeder come out there, I just put a big smile on my face. Oh, yeah. Kyrie's out.
But here's the thing, Prez. Here's where I disagree with Prez. So here's the backstory, James. He thinks because you're able to get Kyrie upset that he's still not going to bust your ass and give you 40. I don't think he's that type of player that gets that much inside of his self. Like, is he sensitive? Maybe. But I don't think Schroeder's going to stop him. Schroeder's going to have long nights if that is to happen, if it is the Nets and the Lakers.
Yeah, I think what's going to hurt the Nets is the fact that they're going to get punished in the paint. Like, if they play Philly, you know, they don't have an answer for Embiid.
It just happened.
Because, yeah, like Embiid's going to be able to do whatever he wants. And then Ben Simmons is a paint player too. You know, so in terms of like, are they going to be able to rebound enough? They can score with anybody, man. If it's a scoring contest versus the Nets, you're going to lose. But I don't think they're going to be able to lock up the way some of these other teams can lock up. And it's different when it's like a one-off. Like when you play them on Thursday and then you got another game on Saturday, you know, you really can't prepare the way you can in a 7-game series. So, you know, if they get matched up against Philly, you know, which probably be the Eastern Conference Finals, I got to go with Philly having that edge, man, because they just have no answer for Embiid. And, you know, the playoffs is about easy buckets and about extra possessions. And I think Philly will be able to have the better of those.
So, but, I mean, KD is a walking bucket. Like, he just came back this week and just walked in doing his thing, man. But one of the places where it's not so easy for KD is on Twitter. And recently him and Shay Sharp got into it. Yeah. And I saw your comments. Your comments on Twitter, man. So I wanted to address them there. Who was wrong in that situation, man? Who was wrong in that situation?
So, and I thought a little bit about what you said, because you said that Shannon should have owned up to like falling for the fake quote, and he should have. He definitely should have, man. So I'll assign blame to both parties, but I just really found it odd that would be that comment was going to be what set KD off, because people have said a lot worse about that man, and he didn't address it at all. And it's like, yeah, Shannon fell for a fake quote, and he's like, yo, why you out here spreading lies about me? It's like, he didn't come up with that on his own, like that it does exist out, in space. So if anything, you can say, okay, Shannon, that's a fake quote. And then, if Shannon defends that, then he's wrong. So it's just a weird situation. But I mean, I feel like KD, he knows that Shannon Sharp is old, and Twitter is KD's game. Like, I feel like he's really like, he's a troll. Like he can control, the narrative on Twitter better than he can on TV, or if they met like face to face, because a lot of the ways he wants to move is not gonna hold up in real life. So I just thought it was kind of corny, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I don't think it's too big of a deal. I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like, man, nowadays these guys, this is the way it's gonna be from here until, I don't know, as far as these guys being on social media, expressing themselves, clapping back, like, so you kind of got to get used to it.
So we had the last couple tracks on your album, on your EP that we talking about, and it was Go Higher Learning. Really thought that was like a standout track. Can you go over a little bit of what you was thinking on that? And I know, like, on here you had spoke about a couple of groups too. You had said Tribe Called Quest, Souls of Mischief, and stuff like this. Can you speak on how they influenced this whole EP?
Yeah. So to start with the Higher Learning track, man. Unfortunately, and it's crazy because I wrote that verse some time ago. Like, I wrote that verse like probably 2 or 3 years ago, and that was around the time. And I can't even recount, which killing it was, but y'all know what's going on in media today. Police killing unarmed Black people. The thing with the Spanish kid that was just killed in Chicago with his hands up. And, it's kind of like, I just feel like people are distracted, from like who the real enemy is. Because I see a lot of times it's like, we got a lot of smoke for our own, but people can come into our communities and brutalize us, and we become real compliant. It's like a lot of the tough guy stuff, it disappears, whenever it's police involved. And, and I get it, but at the same time, it's like, you can't let people come in and just do anything, if you're supposed to, a protector of your community, which a lot of street cats aren't, but it's just something I want to touch on, man, because it's like, refocus the energy on who your real enemy is, because they out there, but we'll leave them be. And, if somebody steps on your sneakers or whatever, like at the slightest sense of any kind of disrespect, we ready to ride on the ops or whatever. And it's like, that stuff don't really matter, man. Like, we gotta come together and really be about helping your brother and, protecting your sisters against, any outside threat, whatever it may be, so just kind of wanted to touch on that and my thoughts about situations, that nature.
And then the influences that you had mentioned up in there that you kind of highlighted on here.
Definitely a big Tribe fan, man. Midnight Marauders. I'm not that old, so a lot of the Tribe that I was listening to, like the Love Movement and stuff. Of course, cats can be like, the feeling was already gone by the time they dropped that. But those are like my coming of age tracks. And then, of course, Souls of Mischief. 93 Till Infinity, Hieroglyphics. Man, it's like that's really like the soundtrack of my childhood, so I just definitely wanted to shout those names out because it's names that really don't get a lot of shine. Not talking about Tribe, but more so Souls of Mischief. And just wanted to shed some light on those groups for people who don't know who they are. They got some real dope music. You should check them out.
Yeah, man. And some of that music is like you saying, like it probably wasn't you at the time. Like you didn't catch the initial wave they're trying to say, but that music's timeless. So anytime you go back and listen to it, it still feels fresh. It feels like in the moment, like even to the point where I know like my kids, I be riding, they don't like too much of the stuff I listen to, but when I put on something like that, they quiet, they'll let it ride out. You know what I mean? The music just sounds good,
That's true, man. Yeah, my son, even as I was preparing for the interview, I'm riding around. My oldest son is about to be 15, so I let him listen to whatever because he gonna listen to it now. And then he was like, "Yo, Dad, who that?" Because he always clown me for my old school listening because I'm always listening to the Locks. I'm always listening to Old Bad Boy because that was my coming of age. You know what I mean? So kind of it just kind of came to me, man. Like who were some of your rap groups, your labels that were like your go-tos during your coming of age years?
Man, so the probably the most formative rap group got to be Wu-Tang, man. Because I'm the middle child, so I got a younger brother who's 3 years younger. My older brother is 2 years older. So basically, I listened to whatever he listened to, So he was kind of like all over the place from like Dungeon Family, Bone Thugs, but like the Wu-Tang, like the first time I heard "Protect Your Neck," I'm like, man, what is this? Like I had never heard anything like that in my whole entire life, and just like the energy, and then the whole kung fu references and all that stuff, I was all in, man. So absolutely, like Wu-Tang is it for me, man. And then Method Man, but my favorite member is Ghostface. Like I.
2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Bro, Ghostface has a top 5 discography of all time, bro. Like
Prez, you hear that?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Like, bro, when Supreme Clientele came out, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Like, man, that's all I was listening to. That's all, and you can literally just like put.
He can't say shit about Supreme Clientele. You know that, bro.
No. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. I'm like, but I'm saying like we all love Wu. I just said my favorite out the group was Raekwon. Like no matter what, like I ain't trying to sit here and like no Ghostface is like nah, I ain't never that. But
because you can't argue it. That's why you try. That's why you sitting here and saying shit. You can't argue it. I'm just
came together as a group and it was amazing. It was an amazing movement. I just love the movement. But I'm saying like when we talk to it. Who I resonate and who I like to go listen to more than all of them is Raekwon.
Absolutely, it suits your personality.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's what's dope about it, man. Because it's something for everybody, man. Because I got a homie, he like, yo, man, the dopest member is Master Killer. And like the only cat that I've never heard anybody be like, yo, he the dopest is you guys. Like I never found the you guys. Hey, look, I ain't
I know, I get it.
I never found you guys, what I'm saying? But like they all had their moments, man. Because I want to think it's Mystery of Chess Boxing. I think you guys probably had the hardest verse, Sean. Bro, I'm gonna give it to you with no trivia. Or like Cocaine straight from Bolivia, bro. Like I'm like, yo, okay. Like just the energy, man. Like I loved it. So in terms of groups, you know what I'm saying, Wu-Tang. And then probably Pharcyde, because people talk about Fonte kind of like being blending the R&B, the singing into the rap, and then later on Drake, Pharcyde was doing that back then, like Jay Dilla. I think they got a remix called I forget, it might be She Said, but that's still in my playlist today. Like, some of the most melodic, smooth music that you will ever hear. And it stands the test of time. Like, it doesn't sound dated. That stuff could come out today and nobody would know, I don't think. So, those are probably my groups. And then, of course, you got groups like Gangstar, the Locks. I'm a huge MOP fan because they got their energy. Definitely Little Brother. Little Brother is kind of the reason why I was like, yo, cats from Carolina can do this, because back then the landscape was different. It was like, the internet hadn't taken a hold. So
Petey Pablo. I don't mean to cut you off, but when I used to think of North Carolina, I used to think of Petey Pablo. I ain't gonna hold you. That's an honest to God truth.
There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people like, yo, like you from North, you talking about Petey Pablo, North Carolina? And it's like, unfortunately, it's like, yeah, so.
And it was a diss too. It was a low key slight.
It was, because back then, the New York East Coast boom bap type of rap that was king. So they really wasn't really rocking with Southern music like that, like they are now. So when somebody mentioned PD Pablo, it was like a joke, like, yeah, but 2005, and Cat's like, yeah, that's where Little Brother from, right? And I'm like, yeah, and they listen to the same stuff that I'm listening to. So it was kind of like, it was kind of like my state finally got their just due. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those are my groups, though, man. Those are my groups.
And now y'all got one of the ones that considered the great in everybody's eyes. Like the J. Cole. Like when you mentioned that Carolina. So I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot. What I'm trying to say is it's a lot different. Like,
is he really from? I mean, he from there, but he made his bones in New York.
I mean, they make a pit stop in New York. New York want to lay claim, like, well, he got his swagger from up there.
It's not a lie.
Yeah, and y'all claim,
it ain't a lie.
Y'all try to claim Michael Jordan.
Yeah. He's born in Brooklyn, baby. Oh man. But
you go up there for one summer, they be like, oh yeah.
Come on, same thing. We all had family in the South, so we went to the South in the summertime. It was just jokes. It's just jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that was the thing back then, though, man. To pretend like you had like a New York accent or whatever. You had like people from up, like it automatically gave you like some kind of credibility or whatever. Like, yo, like he from New York, and half the time cats be lying. So
it was in the military when I first came in. At least my first 3-4 years, I could pull that off, and it worked for me. It worked for me with the ladies specifically.
I can imagine.
All right, man. So you gave us the groups. I mean, let's give us the lyricists. Give us the lyricists off the top of your head. You got to have a top 5.
Yeah. So and this is my top 5. Like I said, I don't know rap enough to be like, I can tell you the best rappers, but my top 5. So when I first started rapping, man, it was Big Pun. I wanted to flow like Pun. I just wanted to sound like Pun because I like how he put his music together. And it's like, just the breath control necessary to spit one of his verses, because I was spitting that song he had with Fat Joe, the Deep Cover remix, Ready for war, Joe, how you want to run a spot? I know these dirty cops that'll get us in if we murder some wop. Hop in the Hummer, the Punisher's ready. Meet me a Vito with noodles, we do this do while we slurping spaghetti. Everybody, like, and
what is
that
this?
Line, and in the middle of little did we know that every middle's a middleman who didn't do diddly. Like, I heard that, and I'm like, yo, this is insane. So I want everything had to be like that, and then, I discovered Big L. So, and I discovered Big L because it was in 7th grade, and I think he had already passed. I'm pretty sure he had already passed. But my man, Blake Ward, he had like the binder full of CDs and stuff. And, we was poor, so, I had the CD player, only had one CD, and I got tired of listening. I'm like, yo, let me hear something. And I grabbed, I think it was Lyricists Lounge Volume 2. And he had a song on that joint called Still Here. It was a remix, actually. It was Big L and C-Town. And he had a bar, and I hope I don't say it wrong. So if I do, don't slander me. But he said, you know nothing about L, so don't doubt L. What's the motherfucking rap game without L? Yeah, that's like Jews without ice, or like China without rice, or the Holy Bible without Christ, or the Bulls without mics, or crack games without pipes, the village without dikes, or hockey games without fights. Don't touch the mic if you ain't able to spit. Flamboyant is the label I'm with. And I'm like, it was like different because he talking that talk, but it's that clean, precise flow, and it's just witty. You can tell he's in total control, I just picture him like walking into the booth with like an invincible aura, like he a Super Saiyan or something. And, just listening to his style, quick to bust a mean nut and the team slut, Big L is clean cut with more jewels than King Tut. Like just effortless. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, man.
And then the third would have to be Elzai. Elzai is my favorite rapper.
Nice.
Because Elzai, there's nothing he can't do.
And he's underrated.
Like, you know,
he's super underrated.
Super underrated.
Like you'll hear Royce before you hear L, but if you go back and do your due diligence on L, it's neck and neck. It just
I think what it is that a lot of people got introduced to Elzhi through when he joined Slum Village.
Yeah.
And I think the song at the time that was booming was that Selfish, that joint that was produced by Kanye. He got a verse on it. But, and you know, his verse is like just the type of song it is, he had to be kind of tame. But Elzhi's a monster, yeah. Like, I think it's on the preface. He got a song called Deep. He said, I'm the shell slinger, bell ringer, hiding bodies to the smell lingers until they pale as Renee Zellweger. I'm like, what? Like, bro, like who says that kind of stuff, yo? And those are the opening bars.
Yeah.
That's the beginning. Like, it just keeps going, man. He had a song, Pete Rock produced it called Gangsta Boogie. And he's on the chorus. I spit fire like a lit wire to split in a bit fibers and you hit by the gangster boogie. I'm like, yo, this dude is
nasty. He nasty, man.
And another cat that hardly nobody mentions, yo. Everybody talks about Black Milk as a producer. As a rapper?
He did his thing as a rapper.
Man, him, like my dream album would be him, Royce, and Elzhi. They haven't made a bad song yet. But I need that group project. But yeah, man, Elzhi, what he did on Illmatic, that was the project where he basically just did he just redid Illmatic.
Yep.
But you know, songs like Lane and stuff, just like how he can, like, you know, it's almost like time travel, man. You know, because I think it goes, I'm trying to get the memory lane, but wonder, should I take the train of thought or hop on the mental plane? I don't stay far, but it's a place you can't get to when you call, you travel. Standing still is bizarre, but there you are, like you never left. Back into your high with your report card, trying to make a B out of the letter F. And I'm like, yo, do we live the same life? Because I can remember getting my report card and it's like, yo,
trying to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and you know it's mad whack. You got no pen, you got a pencil, and it's like one of the fat chunky pencils. But it's like, man, it's just that kind of like descriptive, like it's almost like he's crafted a whole inside the world, man, and he can bring you into his world and let you experience it. So those would definitely be my top three.
I feel like we can get that album that you mentioned, though. Like that's something that should be able to, you know, we can speak it into existence, right?
I hope and pray, man. I hope and pray, because they got a song called "Losing Out" on Black Milk's album called Tronic, I think. And yeah, that chemistry, that back and forth, it's unmatched, man. And it's just like a battle of the titans. Like, you know, we know what Royce is, we know what Elzhi is. It's like, you know, can Black Milk keep up? It's like, nah, he can do more than keep up. Like, he belongs there, you know, like, so I would love to hear a whole album full of that, man. I'll pay a high dollar amount for that.
For sure.
That's something
absolutely. All right, so give us 4 and 5. What you got?
So I already mentioned him before, but Ghostface, man. Ghostface. You know, like, if you want to talk about the one of the artists with the best style, you know, and I know, you know, older cats will probably say like Slick Rick or whatever. For me, it's Ghostface. You know, like Ghostface, just his sound, like sonically, you know what I'm saying? He sounds like somebody that you want to listen to. And then, like, you know, with the Wallabies, I remember him having the golden bangle with the eagle on it. You know what I'm saying? He coming out in robes and stuff. And like really just spitting over whole songs, like not a sample. He's spitting over the whole song. And I'm like, yo, this is insane. I never heard nothing like this. I love it.
No 808s, no drums, just coming in.
Nothing. The whole song playing, and he just hitting over it. And it's some of the raw stuff that I ever heard. So, you know, and I kind of lost touch because as I got old, I just couldn't listen to music as much. But, you know, for him to go from Iron Man to Bulletproof Wallets, and I'm not doing them in order, but Fish Scale, More Fish, Bulletproof Wallets, no misses. no misses, you know, 0 misses. And unfortunately, I think Bulletproof Wallace was the album that a lot of those songs didn't come out because of sample clearance. But the version that was supposed to come out, it'd have been another Supreme Clientele.
And there's a lot of albums. There's a lot of albums like that back in the day where the bootleg versions came out and you was like, this is gold. This is gold. And then it just never quite made it to the market, man. But Prez, do you have anything else for King? Was that it? Is that 4 or 5?
No, 4.
That's 4. On number 5, I ain't gonna go into it because it's Nas. You know, what can I say about Nas? You know what I'm saying? It's God MC, you know, GOAT level. It is what it is.
Some people feel like he don't deserve that Grammy last year, but that's just some people on this podcast. But yeah, I digress.
I can kind of see that because it's just like, you know, he should have already had one, man.
That's what I feel like it is. So he's trying to talk about it. I feel like it's that Denzel moment that we got with Nas. Like he should have got it off some of his past work, and that's when it should have been given to him. But this was all right. You know, we can champion this. I do think Nas deserves that. But it's like, was that his collective best?
Who should have got it over Nas? Just say it. So come out with it, Prez. Just come out with it. Who should have got it? Just come out with it.
Jay Electronica.
I don't know. How do I drop you out this?
Nah. You know who should have got it, man. It should have been Freddie Gibbs, man.
Yeah, I feel like Freddie had the best joint. Either him or Royce. But if I had to go off of what I truly listened to more, it was Gibbs.
Yeah, it was gangster.
Yeah, Gibbs can't do no wrong right now, man. He's definitely on the tear. So I rock with him a whole lot, man. So
I'm still glad Jay Electronica was nominated.
We can go on and on for days about that guest appearance Jay Electronica album, but you know, it is what it is, you know. So Prez, do you got any parting words for King James and the Prodigal Son?
Like I said, I hope people go listen to his Weather Report. Great EP, kind of different tonally than this one right here, the Prodigal Son. So I think both of them can, you know, live in their own places, and I think you're gonna enjoy both projects. So go check those out. Keep putting out music, man. And hey, I'm gonna say you're always welcome back on the couch, man. Come on and join us at any time. If you feel like you got any album that you want to speak on or something like this, or you want to talk on that's just like burning you up that we ain't speaking on, hey, always hit us up, and we'd love to have a convo with you about it.
Sure, you always welcome on the couch, brother. And as for me, this is my parting shot is for the people out there that is listening, the folks in our age range, 35 and up, that keep saying, ain't no good music out. Ain't no dope shit. They just keep doing this. They just keep doing that. No, we doing these interviews so you can find the dope music. We're finding it for you. Go listen. Go support. Go buy. Go get merch. Go do all the things that you need to do. But these guys are talking about real shit and they're rapping it. They're fucking their asses off. When I'm talking about King James, I'm talking about JR, talking about Mars Native. Pretty much everybody we interview on here is people that we like genuinely. And that's it, man. And like little brother says, man, Prez, what is it?
Man, that's your line, but I'll do it.
I'm tossing it to you.
What more could we ask for?
Exactly. Dope beats, dope bars. What more do y'all want? I mean, they don't want to shuck and jive. They just want to rap and give y'all good music. So you're definitely going to get that with the Weather Report, like Prez says. You're definitely going to get it with the Prodigal Son when y'all hear it on May 3rd. And with that said, King James, we'll let you take us out. Let us know who's featured on the project and where everybody can find you.
I bet, man. Like I said, the project Prodigal Son is dropping May 3rd on all streaming platforms. Got a feature from the Clean Brittany Carter, really dope MC out of Chicago. She, definitely blessed me with an amazing verse. I got production from Aeon. I got a production from DJ Payne 1. I got a couple joints from Serious Beats. Project came out wonderful. And, I just want to, provide, a soundtrack for cats, for their everyday life. The things that you go through that you may not want to talk about, or things that people really don't touch on too much. That's just what I wanted to highlight. And yeah, man, you know, show love, just show energy to the stuff that you like, man. Because if you showing energy, people show more energy to the stuff that they don't like. And the only way, you know, stuff is going to rise to the top is if you champion it. So if you hear something that you like, you know, just like, you know, Cash and Mr. Prez, the same way they do, you know, show love to the stuff that you like, man. You know, elevate it to the top so more people can hear it. You know, and I definitely appreciate y'all for having me on. I like to talk, man, so it ain't even got to be on a music tip. If it's just, you know, about whatever, you know, hey, just hit me up. I'm ready to do it anytime, man.
Absolutely. And we will do that. We will do that.
Cash, before we let them go, though, we definitely want to say, man, hey, love the song Hip Hop. Make sure y'all check that out.
Favorite. Best song ever. Best song ever. Best song ever. Hey, we got our first shout out, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We ain't ashamed to say we was excited when we heard it. Damn it.
Yeah. Hey, look, you gotta show love, man. I love what y'all are doing, man, providing, you know, an outlet for cats like myself, you know, to be exposed to a wider audience. So definitely appreciative, and you know, we're gonna keep it moving, man. Hopefully this thing grows for all parties involved.
Absolutely. And with that said, I'm Cash, aka Exec P, and he is
Prez.
All right, and that's King James, May 3rd, Prodigal Son. We out.
Yes, sir.
For more episodes, catch us on Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Spotify, SoundCloud, and wherever else you listen to your favorite podcasts.